Cause you niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me. And Justin Brown for your movie needs. Media popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Just one of those days that a girl goes through doing nigga shit. Don't want to take it out on you. Just one of them days.
That's like if Monica and Cisco did a remix. Hey, everybody, this is Eddie Collins.
Yeah. Guys, it's Justin Brown.
And we're Media Popcorn, but you already knew that because you listened to that amazing theme song that, you know, eventually will get us in some legal trouble. But for today, we're clear as rain, baby. And we're reviewing one of them days. No, we're not. We're never going to be good. But we're reviewing one of them days, which you can currently, as of this recording, find on Netflix, starring Casa and Keke Palmer. The plot logline is: when best friends and roommates Drew and Alyssa discover Alyssa's boyfriend has blown their rent money, the duo finds himself going to extremes in a race against the clock to avoid eviction and keep their friendship intact. I've seen this movie 3.5 times since it came out. I saw it once in the theater, which is
you are horny, huh?
It was a fun time. We'll talk about that. But then I watched it once with Tati, and I watched it with Tati and her mom. And each time, enjoyed it, had a really good time. I think it's incredibly funny and charming. Justin, what did you think? What are your initial thoughts?
There's as I like to call, a lot of niggatry going on in this film.
Okay.
But it was very fun. It was very fun. I actually enjoyed this film a lot more than I thought that I would. Okay. I mean, because, you know how, guys, you've been listening to the show long enough. You know how I feel about, like, films going towards musicians, rappers, and shit like that, because they feel like a black actor can't hold a film on their own, and they need to get somebody with a built-in, audience, which I think is bullshit, and it just takes away from us, and they only do it to us. But so because of that, I'll be the first to say I really wasn't ready to give this film a chance. But there's a level of charm in this film that is undeniable.
Yes,
absolutely. I think SZA did a good job with it to the point where you just like,
she did really well.
Yeah, did a really good job with it, and also keeping up with Keke Palmer.
Well, that's what I want to talk about. I think Keke Palmer, when I saw this movie, I was like, she's undeniably like charming and beautiful. Like, and she's like the whole package. And I don't think she gets enough recognition for obvious reasons in this industry. But I was just like, I really enjoy like just, the female representation in this movie. Like you got the different types of women, and even the villain, who's a female antagonist, she's kind of justified in wanting to fuck them up. You know what I mean? Because she's just like minding her own business, fucking with this fuck boy. But then Drew and Alyssa that pop in on her shit, and then she gets fucked up in front of the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, yes, like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, not necessarily. I mean, because like, but you ran into an open door. Like that's on you.
Hey, man. In the heat of the moment, doors can just pop up. You know what I mean? It can be blinding out here.
So listen, I mean, the only time the car doors ever popped up on me is when I used to ride my bike to work, and like niggas just be opening up doors.
Yeah,
it's like they're trying to catch me.
Yeah,
New York City, it's wild.
Have you ever flipped over a door because of that?
No, I never flipped over a door, but I did flip over my handlebars. That's how I fucking fucked up my shoulder.
Fucked up your shoulder. And Justin, this is very ill timed, but Justin for Halloween that year, because his arm in the cast was Russell Simmons. Claimed serial violator Russell Simmons, and he probably wore that costume, folks.
Yeah, yep. Russell's just like, you know what? Let me just shut up. Well, let's not go there.
Oh, real quick call back to Cisco, folks. Maybe I'll post it on Patreon. I'll post when I was Cisco for Halloween. That's one of my best costumes.
Yeah.
Even though at that party, do you remember, Justin? I mean, obviously people were drunk. You know, it's a Brandon Collins Queen's party, but people were trying to get me to fucking do the flip when we put on the song. They're like, do the flip. I'm like, how?
How many niggas you know that can do the flip? All right,
one Cisco. It's like who else?
I mean, but
Brandon
realistically, hold on. Cisco couldn't do that flip. That nigga was on wires. You saw them making that video.
It's the same thing, you know. It's the same impression that people have about the Smooth Criminal video. You know, like people are like, I can't believe Michael Jackson could really like bend on his legs like that. It's like that's not humanly possible. He had planted shoes. It was like a magnet or some shit.
No, I believe science. I believe the shoes they had like a thing where like there's a bolt in the ground and like hooked in, and that's what allowed them to go and do that. But you still had to have the the core strength to be able to hold yourself in that position and come back up. So, you know, you do have to give Mike flowers for that shit.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Smooth Criminal, I'll debate anybody. I think that's probably the best. I don't know. Personally, for me, I think it's the best dance break in all music. I think that Smooth Criminal, like, I just like, and then like you see it perform, I just love it. I love that part. Like, that'll always give me hype.
I get what you're saying, but like
that's just me personally.
Like, bad is fucking nuts.
Bad is great. Yes.
Yeah, like it's tough. It's tough because Mike's got fucking hits.
Beat It's a really good one too. Like the fucking
that's fucking. You got Wesley Snipes is in Beat It. Come on now.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes, and a lot of people don't know. It wasn't supposed to be Wesley Snipes. It was actually supposed to be Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, they pitched it to Prince, and Prince was just like, wait, when he says, your butt is mine, whose butt is who? So basically, Prince no homo that entire fucking video. And then he was just like, nah, I can't do it.
Which is so wild because everyone's like, it's Prince. And he's like, I fuck anybody but Mike.
I fuck everything, even though I'm Jehovah's Witness. Jehovah's Witness has nothing to do with me fucking.
You know, I met someone who's a fan of the podcast, and well, eventually, folks, we're going to talk about one of them days. This is one of those situations where we don't want to talk about the movie, so we're talking about everything else. But Prince, someone listened to the Purple Rain episode. Like, this is a while back, a fan of the show, and they're like, "I'll never forgive you, Brandon." I think it was that Drunk Black History show. They're like, "I'll never forgive you, Brandon, because you said Prince looked like Darkwing Duck in your Purple Rain review." I was like, the shoe fits. So this movie follows waitress Drew, and aspiring artist Alyssa. They're living together in their apartment with Alyssa's boyfriend Kate Sean, who just showed up one day and never kind of left. And the rent is $1,500.
I mean, but that's what people do. That's what people do. Yeah.
Yeah. The rent is $1,500, and granted, their apartment's falling apart and shit like that, but that's still pretty decent for LA, especially now. But I mean, you know what I mean? And they have a community. It's not like, you know, it's, you know, a little run down and stuff, but it's a community. It's not like they're living in, you know, desolate housing and like fucking.
Hold on. You said it was a little run down. There's a hole in the ceiling. And when you if you slam the door too hard, a piece of the ceiling will fall down and knock you in your fucking skull. That's a little bit more than run down.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. See, I would be like Alyssa. I'd be trying to, like, you know, sell it. Be like, hey, you know, this ain't that bad. It's like, if it pours tonight, we're gonna drown. Like, we in trouble. And so they, you know, Drew's also like in the running for promotion, like, or for this program, right? It's like a program that helps train
you to be a manager.
Yeah, to be a franchise manager, which you know, we could talk about that another day about black franchisees and fast food and like restaurant business, because that shit is shady as hell. But basically, you know, she needs to get some sleep after her shift. Alyssa was already running late. Then we find out Alyssa's boyfriend, whom she gave the rent money to, basically spit it on some T-shirts, right?
Yeah, he stole their money.
Yes,
100%. He just stole their money,
which is wild because, well, he had a backup plan. He had a backup, you know, girl to go to. Right, so that's why he picked up all his shoes and just ran the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, that's still just fucking nuts.
Yeah. Also, you'd have the gag where like, he has this big dick, so he's fucking the shit out of SZA. That's why she's just, she's a dickaholic. She basically like, gives him the money because he dicks her down so good. And and I was like, all right, like he's packing. That's a big piece. That's a big piece.
Yep.
But can you honestly tell me that some women find that pleasurable? Like that's so big, bro.
Look at that. I mean, different strokes, different folks.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, SZA, she probably demands a lot. You know what I mean? So
no, I know. No, all different kinds of women, like different size men. If a guy can lay that hammer down on you, maybe that's what's doing it for you.
Yeah. I just saw that thing, and like all the women in the theater yelped and stuff like that, and started laughing and shit. I'm just like, that would be like the equivalent of a woman having like G's for tits. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have like hip problems, right? Like, because how women with really large breasts, they eventually develop back problems. I'm like, that brother's gonna have like issues with the hip. He gonna need a new hip soon. And also, what kind of pants can you wear with that?
I just think it's just the fact is that, the dude, he will be impaling some women and they are not prepared for that. I mean, all right. So I remember I was talking to this girl and she's just like, we talking, and now we, talking about, getting it in. And she's just like, so just so you know, I only deal with niggas with like 14 inches or up. I was just like, wait, what?
You're like, we're a Cold Stone Creamery. What are you talking about?
I was like, 14 inches? I was like, first of all, I ain't got that for you. I ain't got that for you. Never will have that for you. But also, where are you finding niggas with 14-inch niggas exclusively?
It's such a small percentage of men that have 14 plus inches. And, see our producer's note that this is a general episode. He's just going very incredibly graphic.
I mean, this is what we do, baby. Medium popcorn.
We're trying to get some sponsors, man. We got to pull it back a little bit.
Sponsors will always be there.
They're literally not here, Justin. You're the worst businessman.
You're right.
I fuck around with you. I end up getting the best of the typewriters. God damn it.
Nigga, because you make terrible investments. That's on you. See, you're Keke Palmer, and I'm SZA. That's our relationship.
That literally is our dynamic, for sure.
Actually, no, not really. I am not that. I mean, she was on a whole lot of bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, but the bullshit that like
she had to be better.
The bullshit Alyssa was on, like where like it's like she means well and stuff, and it just doesn't work out. It's kind of how you are with tech sometimes. That's why I was the compare.
Keep it up,
because it's so. Because it's bad luck. It's so weird the bad luck you have sometimes with tech. It's like it was working the other day.
Yeah, whatever, nigga. Whatever.
But all right, so
it's almost like you're bad luck with height, nigga. Fuck you.
I've been bad luck with height for a long time. But it's wild. Being a short man in 2025, it's tough out here. But all right. So Alyssa and Drew basically have until 6 p.m. Before they get evicted, and they've already seen one brother earlier that day get evicted outside their apartment complex, so they know that the landlord is for real.
Yeah, he ain't playing games.
Yeah, he's an African dude too. Yeah, he ain't playing around with that money, but he's also a slum lord because he's like accommodating the white woman that's moving in, played by one of the Apatow daughters, and like she's got a she's got a renovated like an apartment and stuff like that. Oh yeah, that's right. You don't watch Euphoria, so you're not familiar with it. Dude, that's some intense shit. Euphoria, it's coming back. I don't know what they're gonna do, but Zendaya is the real deal because of that show. Okay. I was like, damn, speaking of that. Okay. So basically, they try to track down Keyshawn, who's gone to this woman Bernice's house, who he's been, that's his side piece. Or whatever, but she doesn't know about Alyssa. So he's like, he's doing his old fuck boy thing. Alyssa goes through the bedroom. She sneaks through the bedroom, whereas Drew tries to distract Bernice from the front. They learned that Keyshawn got the money. I know that sounded weird, but Keyshawn got the money. He used it to invest in his t-shirt company, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Bernice realizes t-shirts. And then Bernice ends up chasing after Alyssa and Drew, and like we said earlier, she gets hit by an open car door. the whole hood's like, oh shit. And so she's embarrassed. Then she's like, Keyshawn, she's like, we're gonna find them bitches. I'm gonna and Keyshawn's just like, violence ain't the answer.
All right. So
you gotta stop moving that mic, bro.
I'm sorry. Keyshawn, like, why is he going with her? Like, because it seemed very much that like he didn't want any part of this because she was very overly aggressive, right? And it almost seemed like he was afraid of her because it seemed like everybody was afraid of her.
Oh yeah, Bernice, yeah, for sure. She's like not like quite like Devo, but like she's the one like you don't fuck with.
She's Baby D. She's Baby D of the hood. The Friday part, the next Friday reference. But or is that the Friday after next? Either way, I don't know. Like, if I'm with a girl who's like that kind of crazy, I'd just be like, yeah, go find him. You gonna help me find him? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm good. Like, I'm just good. Just being just like, I'm all right. I'm out of here.
Yeah, he really didn't. But like you said, like it seems like everyone's actually afraid of her, so that's why.
But so
he also doesn't have a place to live after, like because he burned the bridge with Alyssa, so he needs to kind of be on Bernice's good side if he wants a warm bed at night. He ain't got no money.
He would have found a new spot. He would have found another sucker.
Maybe with that big piece, he probably can. But at the same time, that might be acquired taste. That's a big gun, bro.
Yes, it is.
That's you know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
So
yeah, you're right.
It could be hard. Similar. Anyways, I don't want to get too deep talking about the brother's fake dick. But so basically, Drew and Alyssa have like a few hours to come up with $1,500. They go to this like quick loans place where Katt Williams' crazy ass is hanging out trying to warn people from taking these payday loans because the interest rate is astronomical to the point where you can't pay it back.
He's 1,000%.
Yeah, he's like, listen, like it's he's like, it's a trap. Don't get in there. I had me like 7 of them, and they would track you down. And then we find out also like Alyssa and Drew can't get approved because Drew's credit score is terrible, like dangerously low, abysmal low. Like they laugh at her, and then because Alyssa's an artist, they're like, "That's not a real job, so you don't have actual income coming in."
They tried to combine their credit scores. They're just like, "Nah, you get
wild." That's hilarious, dude. Imagine
that actually having to do that though.
Well, you know what's crazy about the credit score is it's all this shit's invented. Like I had a revelation, and it might have just been the weed talking a few days ago, but I was like, the concept of money and everything and credit is just made up. You know what I mean? It literally like credit used to be like people would go to your friends and neighbors and be like, is this person reliable? That'll determine if I give them any money or like give them this opportunity. That's how credit used to work in the early days.
Yeah, but I mean, the world is obviously a lot bigger than that, or in a sense, it's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So like, well, I guess it's bigger. You can't just go and be like, hey, is this person, trustworthy? Because that don't mean shit. Because, just like they used to call your job and be like, hey, this person used to work here. Everybody just gives their fucking closest friend a phone number.
They just Stephen Glass it and be like, yeah, this is my source for this news article. And it's just Justin on the phone, like improvising. He's like,
yeah, I'm that guy.
Whatever.
I told him about that.
It's just fucking crazy. So yeah, Drew and Alyssa, they get into some shit because they can't get approved for a loan, so they go to donate blood. And Janelle James in her feature debut, it's her first day too, tries to draw the blood. And I knew that was going to be gross, but that was like nasty with the blood spraying in people's mouths and shit. That's also how people get the viruses. Yeah, coronavirus.
Yeah. No, that's how you get AIDS virus. Magic Johnson.
Well, remember it's HIV, and then it advances to AIDS.
Nah, you're gonna get AIDS. Fucking around like that. you jump in the gun right into AIDS.
Folks, come on and see me live on stage, fertileblackers.com for my dates. I got a new story about when I was a peer educator where I taught sex ed to middle school and high school students, and that included teaching them about HIV and AIDS. It's a hilarious bit. I'm going to get some good responses because people are just like, Of course that would be you. Of course that would happen to you. And I'm like, yep, that's my life. But yeah, that blood donation scene was gross. And then they didn't even get paid. They just got the free coupons for the apple pies at what's the place?
I forgot. I forgot. But I mean, but either way,
Churches. Thank you, Lluvia.
But either way, it's just, Alyssa. No, I'm sorry. Drew actually needs that apple pie because she'd be fucked up because she gave like fucking 5 pints of blood.
Yeah, that's
she was like fucking white.
But they destroyed all the bags, so they didn't get no money.
That was nuts.
It's literally a bloodbath at this space. Yeah. But it's also like an indictment of like the fucking economy right now, where people have to give away their whole body supply of blood to just pay rent. You're literally giving away blood, sweat, and tears for your rent. That's insane.
Yeah. I know what like. I know what that feeling's like.
Man, I looked up how much like it would take I would get paid to donate my plasma, and I was like, I don't want to donate. I want to get paid, and it's like, it's a whole process, and it's not even that much.
Yep. Not worth.
And apparently, it's painful too, right? Donating pulling the plasma is more painful than just drawing blood.
I thought the one that was like more painful was like bone marrow.
I mean, that's like intense. Yeah. You ain't get my bone marrow. Have you ever had bone marrow?
No.
It's like a thick, meaty membrane, in a big stick.
Yes, I thought they're like, have you ever had given bone marrow? I'm like, no, Brendan.
No, but I'm like, if you've eaten it, like imagine that coming out your body. That can't be a painless process. Like my ground beef. Can we talk about the nigga that was snatching up people's church's meals? That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was wild.
And Tony Baker's the fucking attendant at the cashier and shit.
Did you say Tony Banker?
Baker.
Okay. Just making sure. Yeah, I mean,
his last name might have been Banker. You never know. I did say Banker. Yeah,
I thought I heard it. I thought I heard it.
Listen, I watched Blank Check earlier, so I got Banks in the mind.
Okay. What's funny though? I could actually see somebody actually doing that.
Oh, for sure. There's people that do that.
Just run up the drive-through and
we're tight. I would do that all the time at fucking. If I were out in California, I would do that all the time at fucking In-N-Out Burger and what's the other one? The good one, Jack in the Box, because those tacos are slamming.
Yeah, they are. And that's the thing, nobody's gonna catch you because of that traffic.
Yeah,
you go.
Well, I mean, it is hard to get away on foot in LA. There's places you can go into and stuff, but like it can get hot real quick. You know what I mean? Like,
well, no,
depending on where you're at.
About it. Hold on, if you think about it, Brandon, if you have yourself a little bike stashed off to the side, then you could be gone.
That's true. Especially on motorbikes. You could be.
Yeah, you
get into the little alleys and shit. Yeah. You're right.
You're out of it.
Yeah, you're right.
What are you talking about?
But that guy didn't get away from Bernice when Keisha was like, since we already here, asking questions, we may as well get some food. I was like, I know that game because I played it, brother. I'd be like, as we're already at Starbucks, we may as well, get some coffees, Because, sometimes you go to a coffee shop or something like that to use the bathroom. You're like, since we're already here, we may as well, indulge. Right, Tati?
That's how you do it with your wife?
Sometimes, sometimes depending on like, what's going on. I'll be like, oh, you're going to get that thing? Oh, cool. Like, that looks cool too. What you think?
Like, I always say it's like, oh, what's that? I ain't never had none of that before. That looks interesting. You eat here all the time. Yeah, but I never had none of it today, though.
Have your kids started doing any of that stuff where they're like, oh, you're going to do that, Daddy? Maybe bring me off something.
It's more like, it's just like, where are we going? It's like, oh, we have to go into the store. I don't want to go in the store. It's like, we go to the store because, you don't got a choice. You're a child. And then it's just like, Daddy, can I have? It's like, then they start the begging. And, you got to give in because now I've drugged them into a damn store. It's like, this is on me. They always end up walking out with something.
Lluvia, our producers, said in the chat, the love interest brought them the food after their biscuits got stolen. Yeah, so Drew and Alyssa, they go through the drive-through on foot, by the way, because they ain't got no car, because Alyssa's car gets towed at one point. Their food gets snatched, and then there's this love interest that, kind of, is fucking with Drew. They have their little run-in at the beginning of the movie when they go to, like, basically, the jungle, which is the complex name. Like, they have this little bodega, which is just a black woman. It's one of the woman's apartments that just has snacks.
She just sells shit out of her fucking apartment. She's turning into a little convenience store.
Which, like, that's dope, though, because, at first I was like, man, if it's suck if someone, like, robbed her or something like that. But I'm like, oh, no, she's not the one. That's, like, the kind of community thing where people wouldn't fuck with her like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I loved about this movie, like, in the setting. And I wasn't surprised to see that Issa Rae produced this because they had very similar, like, especially the complex, similar aesthetic to where she lived in Most of Insecure, during that show and stuff like that. But shout out to Dwayne Perkins, who plays Jamel. He's like the hairstylist. He's like, I don't do anything half done. And like, Drew shows her hair. She's like, this is fucked up. You didn't even do the edges right.
Well, yeah. I mean, she didn't. He didn't even do half of her hair.
He's like, I don't do anything. I don't do anything half measured or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, because he's the writer, and he was a star in The Blackening. He just popped up recently in the studio, so he's doing a lot of stuff. Like, so he's really funny. Like, I like his vibe. I want to shout out, obviously shout out Katt Williams, Janelle Monáe. I mean, not Janelle Monáe, Janelle James. And Janelle Monáe was in this movie too, with Keke Palmer and SZA.
I would also want to shout out Janelle Monáe. Okay, I know she has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about today, but let's shout out Janelle Monáe. And if you want to fuck up my life, I'm here for it.
She'd be like, yeah,
I shall oblige.
I met him. I just fell in love with Justin Brown. And I know he had 3 kids with this Finnish woman, but just love is love.
Yep.
That would be a wild story to tell people. Be like, hey, did you hear about Justin? Yeah, he got married to Janelle Monáe.
Isn't he married? Yep.
He was. I mean, technically, he is.
Look at that second wife.
Insane.
I don't know if the last time you saw Harlem Nights, but it's like that scene with that white dude. He's with the prostitute. He calls his wife. He's like, hey, honey, put your mother on the phone. He's like, hey, it's me. I'm never coming home. And he hangs up the phone. He's like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, given my life situation, Justin, yeah, that's one of those jokes I don't think that's very funny. But yeah, I
given your life situation. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. I don't think he ever called. I
don't think he ever called my mom though, but you know what I mean? It's sad days.
Sunny days. Been up.
People are like, why do you love movies so much, Brandon? I'm like, because I was raised on them. All right. I wanted to shout Lil Rel Howery, even though he clearly has been taking Ozempic. Because he was funny. Yeah, he had a funny bit in this too. And he's been doing some unique stuff, like where it's like comedy, but a little bit of serious stuff. Like he's like slowly been stretching some stuff. Because I don't know, do you watch Poker Face?
Yeah.
On Peacock, like his episode was really good. Like his episode was one of my favorite ones of the last season. So
he's doing his own to the new season coming out.
Yeah, absolutely,
pretty soon.
Yep. But yeah, like I was really happy with like the cast and like it's a quick movie too. It's an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and that's yes, like a tiger,
like Keke Palmer.
Yep. Well,
she looks great. She had a kid.
And that neon green. And that neon green, I was like, listen, bro. Okay. Well, I'm talking to Keke Palmer's ex right now. Okay.
Okay. Go on.
I get it. But like it's hard to be secure. It's hard to be secure when you got a dime piece at the time, like Keke Palmer, the mother of your child, and she's at an Usher show.
She's still a dime piece right now.
Well, no, but like, at the time I'm talking about the status of the relationship in this hypothetical conversation I'm having.
Fair enough.
And
why that matters. Go on.
The baby, the mother of your baby is at the Usher show, and they having a vibe, but that's what Usher does. He be fucking up relationships. He be trying to fuck up relationships. He might be play pretend. It might be for real. Just be ready for that
diabolical.
Smoke. Yes. But your beef is with Usher, not with Keke.
There you go.
You fucked up.
There you go. He needs to understand.
You can't Think about Usher, who's had a 12-pack since he was 16, and not expect him to want to fuck everybody. That's his vibe.
This nigga came up in the time of Diddy. You gotta understand that he's a savage.
He's literally said, like, don't keep your girl around me. I'm a true player for real. That's my nigga for real. That's like his second album.
My niggas for real.
Well, that's what he said. He said, ask him. He didn't even say tell him. He said, ask him. They'll tell you. They'll tell you as I roll into a fucking dance floor with these weird skate shoes.
Yeah, he had the little Heelys.
Yeah, going back to the dance tricks. Going back to the dance tricks, I thought that nigga was really sliding. I tried to do that shit. You know how many times I busted my ass trying to do you don't have to call.
Break your goddamn ankle.
I fucked myself up so bad trying to do the you don't have to call.
It's so falling downstairs and shit.
I'm just like in my living room, like, how does he do it? It's just incredible.
I mean, to that point, I have tried. My brothers and I have tried on many occasions to do the Michael Jackson, tilt from Smooth Criminal, and just busted our asses face first, plant right into the ground.
Bro, when I walk, my ankles hurt now, and to the point where I'm like, I can see why Michael Jackson was taking all those painkillers. Besides numbing the memories of the crimes that he may or may not have committed.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Brandon. Oh,
I don't know if this could be a general episode.
Oh, no. What are you saying? What are you saying?
You reminded us that we didn't even talk about the tumbleweave when they went to break into Big Booty Bernice's apartment. Yes, there's a lot of really funny sight gags and shit like that in this movie. Very absurdist at times. And shit, like, I mean, the Bernice fight with Alyssa outside of Drew's, the building that Drew's interviewing at.
That was insane. So, Alyssa knows that Drew went in there for a job interview and things like that. First of all, she shouldn't have texted, what's this nigga's name? Keyshawn. Because like, why? First of all, but all right, you do that. All right. Bernice shows up. Why are you screaming out Drew's name for help?
Because obviously you can't handle that smoke. If she had that spicy mango, she probably had to poop. She didn't want to shit herself.
No, but she's at a job interview, and like
she ain't thinking straight.
Yeah,
she ain't been thinking straight the whole fucking movie.
Well, yes, this is correct. I guess she was just very upsetting. The fact is, like, she never read the room at all. She was just doing shit.
Yeah.
Which I understand, because sometimes I do shit, but she was just like extra on so many levels in areas that she didn't have to be. It's just like, I don't know, like, I know somebody on Patreon wrote this, in the comments, and we're gonna get to that later, but it's just like, she's too old for this shit, some of this shit that she was doing. So it's like, and it was upsetting me. I'm just like, seriously, bitch, is this what you're doing? But then again, I know people who's like under the guise of being an artist and things like that. They take wild swings in life. Let's say.
Yes, very impulsive. Artists are very impulsive, because they go off the instincts and ideas that sporadically come into their minds, and sometimes that could be, the world has to suffer for that. You know what I mean? One person's art could be another person's, disaster. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. This is true. Brandon.
That's how the director of Paddington 2 felt about their film, and then they're like, I got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Who's this medium popcorn motherfucker?
Uh-oh.
So, so Bernice shows up. She not only beats the shit out of Alyssa and eventually Drew. She takes their money that they made off of so we didn't even talk about the Jordans.
Oh.
The little rel bit. So basically there's these Jordans that are hanging from phone wire, yeah. And they belong to King Lolo, which Katt Williams' character warns about. But Alyssa, she takes them and she gets all fucking electrocuted. Her hair is wild and shit.
Nuts. And she falls on Drew.
So insane. But they're able to sell the Jordans to Lil Rel's character because they said that they're vintage and like, there's like this sentimental value with them to Lil Rel's character for $1,500. So they're able to sell the shoes, make the money, and also get to Drew's job interview on time, even though she has to wear this big ass coat to cover up the fact that she's wearing the craziest outfit possible.
Yeah.
Why'd they have to change outfits again?
Because the blood bank shit.
Oh yeah, the blood bank. Yeah,
and they only had stripper clothes at the blood bank. So what?
Yeah, I don't know. What clothes did the strippers wear when they left?
I don't know. Maybe
did they leave naked?
I don't know. Did
they kill them because they drained them of their blood? What the fuck?
Is this a prequel to Blade? Nuts. That would be nuts.
Actually, that'd be a great cold open. Like a man like goes to donate blood, and then like they're all vampires, and then you just see Blade just wrecking shop in a blood bank.
I mean, I guess so, but
totally that'd be off. It'd be very comical. It'd be like Batman Adam West version, like of Blade, and they start dancing at the end. Dun, 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 dun. That'd be fucking nuts. Tyler Perry's Blade.
No, stop it.
Someone make a fan poster of Tyler Perry's Blade. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. I don't even want to know. I don't even know visually how that would work. But that just
if that were the case, Blade would just be Medea in the cow. That's what someone would make. They would put Medea in the cow.
So Drew and Alyssa have their typical friend buddy comedy. We're like arguing, then we split up. Because Alyssa did fuck up, to your point. Like, Alyssa shouldn't have called Keyshawn and stuff like that. And then so, of course, they go their sad ways. They're walking across the street and are yelling at each other and shit. And then
they get the call from King Lolo.
Yes, they get the call from King Lolo. Oh, Drew's interview was going well. And then it went south because of the fight.
She got the job.
Yeah, because even though that one white dude was giving all the fucking microaggressions.
Yeah.
And everything he said to Drew. But yeah, King Lolo is basically like, you got until 10 p.m. to give me $5,000.
Yeah,
and then also their landlord's like, I'm leaving tonight at 9. So if your shit's not 10 as well. So if your shit's not, you don't have the rent, then like it's going on. Because it's already out on the street. Their stuff's already out on the street.
No, King Lolo gave them till 10 p.m.
Yes.
Their landlord gave them the midnight to 11:59.
Got it. Yes. Okay.
Because technically it was still the first, so the rent is not late.
Yeah. But by the way, man, I used to have a landlord that would cash checks. On the 31st that'd be good. But like, obviously that's not legal. But like literally felt like a midnight he would be at the apartment like, Brandon, it's time to pay the rent. And then I had one that would like go months without cashing my checks. It would fuck up my balancing.
Yeah.
Like he would literally he would wait months and then cash like 4 checks at the same time. Fuck up everything. Like, I mean, not that I didn't like do anything with the money, but it was still like, when you get to a certain number, you're like, oh shit. Like, I'm feeling good.
We playing in a different ball game now.
And then it's all gone overnight. You're like, Lord.
Well, you know what? That's why, like, I was always one that's like, yo, I will give you cash. I will give you fucking a cashier's check, like, a bank check. I will not. You have till this time to cash this shit, or it ain't gonna be there. He's just gonna have to figure out a different way.
Well, that was what was happening, right? It's the first check that I gave him in that pile that he would let build up. It'd be right before the 90 days where he would then cash everything.
Yeah.
So right when it gets to like where that check's gonna be null and void, then he would cash, and I was like, fuck. Because I mean, technically, legally, I still got to pay that money. But if he went beyond the 3 months, it could be like, gotta take that L, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it that one bit.
Me neither. But
that's why when Zell came out, I was just like, nigga, I'll Zell you.
Really, you gotta be careful with Zell now.
I'm not worrying about
hacking and stuff like that.
Zelling niggas fucking any rent checks. Unless I'm zelling mortgage payments, then I got a bigger problem.
If you're Zell your mortgage payment to a nigga named Ronnie, that's not good. All right. So yeah, they basically have a very, very tight timeline to basically more than double, triple actually, the money that they needed earlier in the day to get through the night. Right. And then Maude Apatow, because all their stuff has been pulled out of their apartment, and Maude Apatow, she comes out after walking her dog, and she sees a lot of Alyssa's art. She's like, "Oh, this is really good," and so basically they get inspired to, have like a show,
Yeah.
and
Pop-up.
pop up, and Drew organizes it and stuff like that. And the woman who Drew was interviewing with actually pops up because of the marketing and is impressed with Drew's work, because she gets the whole community to like put some stuff together, and like they're able to sell Alyssa's art and everything like that. So at first it seems very successful, right? Things are going pretty well. And then King Lolo shows up. And by the way, we've heard like hints of King Lolo throughout the movie, like at the beginning when the dude's like, "Oh yeah, my buddy, like he got killed." He's like, because he looked at King Lolo funny. It's like, no, he just looked at him.
Yeah. Yeah. Nuts.
Yeah.
And so King Lolo is played by Amin Joseph. Amin Joseph, who also, famously played Unk on Snowfall. Which he did not. Have you watched Snowfall yet? No,
I have not watched it. It's on the list.
First of all, Snowfall, you need to watch. But like he had a very distinct presence on Snowfall. And it wasn't quite the same presence on this. And for some reason, he looked a lot shorter.
Okay.
Like a lot shorter in this, almost to the point I was just like, wait, how tall is he really? How much are they lying about his height? But I don't know, it was just weird. But and he's just a menace. He's just a menace in this film.
I mean, was he though? I feel like the casting King Lolo and Maniac, who was Drew's love interest, played by Patrick Cage, I felt like they were like fine. But I was just wondering, like, who could have done this role and maybe brought a little bit more to the screen? Like, I felt like the guy who played Maniac, he had those crazy eyes, but he kind of, I mean, to be fair, he looks like a dude I went to St. John's with, so maybe that's why I didn't think of him as like, movie star ready or something like that. But I don't know.
Okay, so honestly, I kind of felt like they could have swapped those roles. I think the dude who played Amin Joseph, he should have been played Maniac, and then other dude would have played a King Lolo.
Yeah,
because I knew it's just God.
I was gonna say I knew Maniac was a firefighter when they found the axe in his car, and they thought he's Maniac, so he's probably a serial killer or some shit like that. I was like, no, because the way, I was like, just when we was talking about like I like used to get some shit, that's why they called me Maniac, and then I was able to like figure some stuff out. I was like, oh, this is kind of program where he's either a police officer or he's a firefighter. And once they had the axe, I was like, oh, it's a firefighter. And they're because they're like having like him with the calls and it's all mysterious and stuff. And then Lluvia in the chat, she said he knew all the EMT by name. So it's like, like all you did was just kind of pay attention. It's weird that Drew wouldn't know what his profession is though. Because when you're a firefighter, I feel like people know that. Because you're on and off being like around your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily, I mean, all right.
Unless he's a volunteer firefighter, which he wasn't. That's his career.
I mean, he does know about that store, in her complex in the jungle. So he has to live either there or he must know that area to knowing enough to go there to pick up, snacks and shit. So like, I imagine that he would know her.
Well, yeah, they know each other. It's just that like they're finally like moving in on their mutual interest of each other.
Yeah, because she does say that it's like, he was always getting in trouble. It's like he's a grown man now, So yeah, they do know. Like that was a weird kind of.
It's just something I was thinking about, like especially as I learn more like randomly about firefighters and stuff like that. It just feels like people would know that he's a firefighter. But anyways, it's not that big of a plot point. It's like a nice surprise when there's a fire at our apartment complex at the end, which they kind of hinted at might happen. Like, there's a lot of foreshadowing in like the dialogue and actions and stuff like that. And so when he's carrying her out, it's like, okay, of course.
Yeah, of course this is a nigga. This big bottom nigga. He looked like he was bottom heavy. he had some of them cakes on him.
Yeah, he was actually. He wasn't body heavy, which is so weird. Like, to be a brother and be kind of thick at the bottom, you know? That's, I mean, in more ways, I don't know.
Brandon,
I don't know where I'm
going,
going.
baby.
There's thickness in the back,
brother, and be a little thick downstairs.
It's a little thick in the front.
Something just really enticing about that.
Thick enough back,
Brandon.
One of them days represent all shapes and sizes in the black spectrum, the black diaspora. I appreciate it.
Okay.
SZA, SZA got the thick, the pouty lips and stuff. Keke Palmer got it tight and, smirking. She got a beautiful smile.
Smirking?
she was smirking a lot, because you could tell that they both had a lot of fun making this movie. You know what I mean? It was like,
I would say so, yes.
It's one of those movies where like you feel like after every take, people were just dying laughing. You know what I mean? And that's a fun environment, because at the end of the day, even though the stakes are very, very high for these two women, like, make no mistake about it, their lives are potentially ruined at the end of this night if things do not go well. But
I don't think ruined is the correct term.
Yes, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. Niggas are dead.
But nonetheless, it was still incredibly fun and charming. You know what I mean? That's a hard balance to pull off, but that's why a lot of people are comparing it to Friday. You know what I mean? And in Lluvia's trivia that she found, it actually mentions that the inspirations for the director, Lawrence Lamont, were 90s black cinema like Friday and Baps, as well as Superbad, which you can kind of get a feel all those movies. And they got a buddy comedy. There's a little bit of homage to this and stuff.
Okay.
And even Alyssa climbing through the back apartment window, is a lightly nod to Friday, where Debo enters Stanley's window, the steal.
Yeah.
Shit. Also, the hot Cheetos martini. Apparently, Keke Palmer really made that, and the cast and crew enjoyed it after wrapping the scene, supposedly.
Yeah, that is some pure nigga shit right there. That is just up there. You can't. There's nothing else you could do with that, but just shake your head.
Yep, I do want to try it.
Of course,
I think it's going to taste disgusting. But I would like to try.
It's just a martini with hot Cheeto powder on the rim.
I know, but I'm not even a big fan of martinis, actually.
Okay.
I've had 2 martinis in life. The first one I had, I blacked out and lost several $100s in Vegas. The second time, it was just, fine. It was fine. It was very strong, though.
Okay.
Yuvi's asking, was it a dirty martini? I don't even know. I had just turned 21. Me and my friend Ross went with my family to Vegas. And the last night, I just won. I think I told this story before in the podcast. I won like $800 on penny slots at the Sex and the City penny slot machine. And I told the family,
Sex and the City penny slot machine.
I told the family, I'm like, we're going out to breakfast tomorrow. I'm taking y'all out. Ross, we're heading to town tonight. The first bar, like lounge we went to in downtown Vegas, the guy was like, we were like, oh, like, what kind of drink should we get? The guy's like, have you ever had a martini? And we were like, no. He's like, all right, I'm gonna make you a martini. And then I blacked out. And I woke up on top of a fucking Titanic penny machine and had no money in my pocket. I spent all my money.
Wait, you were on top of a machine?
Like I fell asleep on it. I fell asleep on it.
Like Snoopy?
No, I wasn't sleeping on top of it. But in the chairs, like I was sleeping on the game.
They didn't kick you out?
No, surprisingly.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Probably someone stole your, ran your pockets, nigga.
I was hoping that more than like I just spent all that money on the penny machines and lost all of it back. But either way, it's not a good scenario. You know what I mean? I've had to be on my P's and Q's in Vegas and stuff.
Not me. Every time I go to, actually, that's why the last time I went to Vegas, I didn't leave the airport. I mean, I had a layover in Vegas.
Oh, I was just like, you went to Vegas just to look at it from the window of the airport.
I'm just like, no,
I don't trust myself.
Technically, no. Actually, when we were coming back from South by Southwest, I had a layover in Vegas, but it was an overnight layover. I'm just like, I'm staying right here. I just stayed in the airport all night. I'm just like, nope, because if I step out of here, I'm gonna do some dumb shit. I can't risk my life.
At least you know yourself, brother.
Even though every time I go to Vegas, I win, but still, I don't feel, I wasn't feeling lucky. My luck has been turning lately. Oh, not in the right direction.
Oh, no. All right. Well, before we get to our ratings of this movie, we got some letterbox reviews. The first is from Lily. They wrote, I was panicking about her interview outfit the whole time, but it really should have been the least of my concerns. 3.5 out of 5 stars. I mean, I was too, because I was like, you know, one actual look, like she looked fashionable because she had it covered, but like, you know, all they had to do was kind of like look a little bit closer and be like, you got a lot of holes, you know, revealing stuff.
What's going on there? Are you stripping on the side?
Hey, I mean, she's a hustler.
Yeah, there you go. I was about to say,
and she's all about customer service. That's what she was highlighting in the interview.
Oh yeah, she's servicing customers, all right.
Jesus Christ. Kyle X Hinton wrote, "Some said this should have went straight to streaming, and I disagree. Bring goofy, silly movies back to the theaters. 3.5 out of 5 stars. I agree. Watching this comedy with a crowd was a lot of fun. You know, Huge as Mammoth wrote, the girls were stressing me out. Like I was so invested that I felt like I was watching Uncut Gems or something. 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, they definitely were putting themselves in. Alyssa was fucking up. Alyssa was putting them in very, very dire straits, for sure.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I mean, the biggest issue was that she called Keyshawn, like you said. If she hadn't done that, they would have been fine. But because she couldn't help herself, it was bad. It's bad. Theo wrote, so SZA lying her out of her ass for literally no reason was actually to practice her acting. 4 out of 5 stars. What was she lying about? Oh, was it like the controversy with like the plastic surgery? Where at first I think she was denying it and then she fully embraced it. I don't know what that was in reference to, really.
I don't know. I'm not involved in whatever nigga babble that's going on with that.
Ava wrote, the way the theater gasped when Janelle James came on screen, Principal Ava Coleman, you will always be famous. Yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, she's been blowing up, man. Shout out to Abbott Elementary. And then let's see. We got some Patriot thoughts. And folks, remember when you sign up at Patreon at patreon.com/medium popcorn, you're guaranteed to have your thoughts of those films read on that episode. So Curtis Boyd wrote
right here.
This is a true delight of a film. The stakes were believable while also being caught up in some outlandish hijinks that gave the story great pacing. This movie is definitely an instant classic for me, and I'm glad to see that this has been successful. Absolutely. Sean the Terrible wrote, funny as hell. Tony Baker's and Lil Rose cameos had me dying. See, I like something. That is true, Sean the Terrible. You finally did like something. There you go. It's all about growth at Medium Popcorn over here. JC Cuts wrote, one of the best and certainly the funniest I've seen in 2025. As indebted as it is to Friday, actually eclipses it as far as having much more urgency and tension with this literal ticking clock. Amazing love letter to Black LA. Yes, it is. And wildly timely in ways it could not have predicted, opening in the middle of the wildfires. Yeah. Keke and SZA definitely enter the pantheon of great buddy comedy duels and hope to see them together again in the sequel that's hopefully already got a green light. Also, sign me up for a spinoff with this movie's Debo. Izzy Scott as Big Booty Bernice. While technically an antagonist, couldn't help but take her side. 90 minutes of her wrecking shop would be cinema. I mean, I actually thought she was really funny as well. I don't know if this needs a sequel, though.
I kind of feel the same. I feel the same.
I think it's hard to strike.
This is a nice one-off, and
it's hard to replicate this kind of stuff, guys. There's a reason why like some of our favorite buddy comedies or favorite comedies in general don't get sequels, or it takes a long, long time, and then they come out and they're disappointing. You know what I mean? It's just hard to strike twice in the same spot. You know. Alicia wrote, representation matters, and when well done, can be profitable. Are you listening, studios? I watched this movie in the theater, packed with a diverse crowd. Everyone appeared to have a good time. Yeah, and this was a box office hit. It's doing well on streaming. Absolutely.
Hold on. Real quick before we go any further. Budget of $14 million. This brought in at the box office $51.8 million. So definitely a big win.
And Erica wrote, I love this movie. Definitely glad that I'm successful, and I'm rooting for more Black female-led comedies. But with that said, SZA's character was too old for the foolishness and deserved to catch hands. I wish there was a bit more Katt Williams, but hopefully the movie has a sequel. Okay. I mean, they could do it like a sequel. They could do a story, though, where it's the same neighborhood, and maybe we see Drew and Alyssa in passing, but it's a different characters or something like that. There's a lot of quirky characters in this community where you could continue some type of story, but it doesn't have to exactly be those two. I think, because to Erica's point, like Alyssa's acting too old to be doing some of this shit. So if they get in more hijinks, it's like, all right, well, what's the growth from the last movie And you know what I mean? You don't want your characters to regress.
Yeah.
That's what the issues I always have with the Friday sequels. It always felt like Craig was regressing in regards to shit he should have learned. You know what I mean?
Now he's a security guard at a shopping mall. Like
by
what's
Friday,
going on?
By Friday after next, Craig should be like, "Fuck Day, fuck my whole way, this life that I'm living. Like I need to stop doing this shit."
Now the whole thing of like they are making another Friday and like Chris Tucker's coming back from him. It's like I don't know if I really want to see that.
That hasn't been that. I haven't seen that verified by any of the trades. I think that's just like internet gossip.
True.
I think that, you know, I think the fact that we haven't, I was actually thinking about this, the fact that we haven't, at least to my memory, haven't seen Chris Tucker and Ice Cube in the same fucking room in years. I feel like that's why I think that story is BS.
Yes, but at the same time, Brandon, just because niggas ain't necessarily, you know, vibing, that don't mean that they ain't going to take that check, especially at a time where things are definitely in a lull.
Yeah, that's true.
And unfortunately, I feel like in our community, we find niggas who just be like, all right, it's time to do that because they just want to, you know, catch that nice little paycheck. You know, it happens more often with us than, you know, other counterparts.
You're right. You're right. I mean, that's, you know, get your money or like, you know, do the roles that interest you the most. But it seems like Chris Tucker's only getting out of bed for these acclaimed white directors because he did a David O. Russell. He was popped up in Silver Linings Playbook, and then he popped up in Ben Affleck's Air. So those are the last things I've seen him in. And he was solid in them, though. Yeah, he was solid in both of them. But like, I was just like, what the fuck? What's the Chris Tucker doing here? But Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. Guys, so you guys know how we do this. We rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any hot, buttery, delicious popcorn that just rolls down your chin, we throw it into the stale popcorn piles and piles of stale popcorn on top of it. So, Brandon, we sat down and watched the 2025 buddy comedy film, One of Them Days, starring Keke Palmer, SZA, Katt Williams, and Vanessa Bell Calloway. What say you, sir? And, hold on. And a great cast of other black actors who are really killing it in this film. So, you know, not just because I didn't say the name doesn't mean that they don't matter in this one.
That's right. That's right. This gets a large. This gets a large. There's a lot of fun. Like I said, I've watched it several times. It's still fun each time. And there's jokes. There's a lot of jokes and sight gags and just a lot of laughs a minute. And I've watched it with, you know, two different women. They both really enjoy it as well, and I think they just love that representation. It's my wife and my mother-in-law. You know what I mean? They technically are like kind of the same.
Brandon wants with two different women.
I don't know why I phrased it like that. I always phrase things so weird. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. The comic timing of the leads is, you know, undeniable. The pacing is really great. It's a smooth watch, like a good wine. Just gonna get better with age. Justin, what's your rating?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to give this a large as well. I think this is one that like I said, I had low expectations for it, but it exceeded all my expectations and just kept on going past. Like it was a really surprising film for me. I think Keke Palmer is really showing off her comedic chops in this one. And like, yeah, we know that she can do it, but like, yeah, this was like that really goofy kind of shit that we only see white dudes get the opportunity to do. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have a lot of black comedies out, especially nowadays. And it was a nice, refreshing film to actually see. And also to get two black female leads leading the charge in the comedy that was like really, really good. So like I would, right now, this is my comedy of 2025.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, this is my second favorite comedy of 2025. This is really fun. But folks, that's our review of One of Them Days. As always, you can follow Medium Popcorn and Medium P Podcast and all the social media platforms. Leave us a voicemail at 347-464-8214 and go to youtube.com/Medium Popcorn Podcast and push that subscribe button so you get alert about all future reviews and celebrity interviews, including the one that we have a Michael B. Jordan up on the channel. So check that out. And just how can people follow? Yes, just how can people follow you as well? Support the show financially, my brother.
Guys, you can follow me at jbrown on all the social media platforms, but you can support this show on Patreon. Patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. If you love this show, you want more of this show, where Patreon is where it's at. Our entire backlogs is on Patreon. Bonus episodes on Patreon. Mini shows on Patreon. Patreon. Again, that is patreon.com/medium popcorn.
That's right, folks. And y'all can follow me at Frodo_Blackens on Instagram and Threads, FrodoBlackens.com for show dates. I got a few coming up, including some Drunk Black History dates, all that good stuff. But specifically with this podcast, you want to support it, like Justin said, patreon.com/medium popcorn, or leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast application. It's been a while since we got one of those, and we'll read it on the show. So 5 stars. That's what you should be doing.
But guys, we know things are getting tight out here. So, we understand. So if anything, go ahead and sell some blood and get on that bitch. Get some plasma out of you. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah,
we are definitely you got.
Yeah, we're definitely worth your plasma for sure. Yeah, bone marrow. I don't know. Maybe the $15 tier might be worth it. But if you're looking at the $5, just a little bit of plasma, we got you covered, baby.